Yo, what is up guys? It is Bumfris, back with episode 67 of our Reddit series. This one's going to be a little bit more entitled parents, and I know you're going to love this one. For those of you that are new around here, don't forget that we upload daily, and the best way for you to make sure you never miss a video is to smash that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Once you've done that, you can sit back, relax, and get annoyed at some entitled parents. So this is part 3 of the entitled kid and the entitled mum with a gaming computer and the Steam ban, if you remember that story, so here it is. The context here doesn't really follow the storyline, as this was a totally unrelated incident. The entitled mum came in with her work computer, entitled kid's gaming rig, and 2 tablets, which was probably entitled mum's and the entitled kid's tablets. We had to do some routine virus removal for the 2 computers, and one of the tablets didn't want to work properly. Keep this in mind because it's important. Our company policy dictates a minimum of $17 labor per device per hour. This means we could have charged her at least $70 for the labor that we did. The 2 tablets were easily sorted out after we did factory restoring and reinstalling of most of their usual apps. The entitled mum gave us their login details to set up the devices again. The entitled kid's gaming rig again had a few viruses on because of his torrenting movies, music, games, etc. Just the usual crap that comes with trying to download torrents. The entitled mum's work computer was effed. We had to do a full wipe on the machine, do virus scans on our expandable tech PC of all of the backed up data, clear everything and restore her data virus free. This took us about 2 whole days of working on her machine alone. At the end of the weekend, the next Monday, I had to go back to varsity but was filled in by my CW. Now my boss, knowing how unreasonable this entitled mum is, told us it's fine to charge her a measly $35 for all the work, which for our shop was still a lot of tech work and we rarely charge anything over $35. When the entitled mum came in on Monday to fetch everything, she went red with rage when my coworker notified her that the labor would be $35. Now, $35 for all the work we did on her devices is nothing. Any other shop would have charged her well over $100 for all that time and energy spent on the work. The entitled mum kept shouting in front of customers how unacceptable our rates were and that she refuses to pay a whole $35 for the work as we worked on multiple clients' machines at the same time. Now, we have a switch, and I can't remember the name of it, but keep in mind I haven't worked as a technician for almost 4 years now. With this switch, you can plug 4 computers into it and switch the screens between 4 PCs so you can easily multitask and work on more than one computer at the same screen, which most tech shops have. Usually, when one machine is busy doing something like a backup or a virus scan, we would switch to another computer to keep working. The entitled mum threw a fit that we didn't prioritize her computer, which we actually did, and it took preference over any other computers that we had plugged in. And also stated that the entitled kid's machine was a quick fix and the tablets were just reset and that any other shop would do it for free. Now, my boss is reasonable and he is wanting to get this screaming hag, as he called her, out of the shop. Very begrudgingly, he lowered the price to $17. He let her pay and told her to F off in not so many words. But he also told her that if she's unhappy with our low price service, she can go somewhere else. My boss doesn't take crap from anyone, not even a customer. We usually do anything we can to keep a customer coming back, but he wasn't having her chasing away potential customers with her banshee screaming. I don't remember seeing the entitled mum again after this, but I'm glad. I think she was too embarrassed when she realized how cheap our prices really were and didn't want to admit defeat. She was one of the worst customers we've ever had to deal with. That's it for the trilogy to rule them all. Thanks to everyone who has been on this journey with me and handing out some silvers. I really do appreciate everyone who takes time to read, comment, and upvote my stories, and especially dish out rewards. Thanks a million again to all you guys for my silver awards, and it gives me the motivation to do more for you all. I have some more stories I'd love to share in the future, from stupid tech questions I've had asked to a few more entitled stories, and even some more stories of the dreaded disabled parking spot that keep stealing from Sheldon. I even have a story of some people trying to return a hard drive to our shop that wasn't brought through us but looking to claim warranty. You know, this being the last story almost feels like the end of an era. I mean, this one wasn't quite on the level of the other 2 stories, but still a great story nonetheless. If you guys want me to, and make sure to let me know in the comments below, I'm happy to keep an eye on any stories that this guy posts and make sure we get more from him. But if not, I'll be sad to see them go. This is just a quick thing that happened to me. No, no one was physically assaulted. No, the police were not called. No, I'm not disabled. Sorry in advance for my lack of imagination. Disclaimer, I didn't realize that I needed to point this out, but calling this my imagination is sarcasm. Yes, this actually happened. No, this is not a product of my imagination. I repeat, that line was a joke. Anyway, I was at the airport Starbucks line, and this particular place in the airport always had a long wait due to heavy traffic. They get through the line pretty quickly, but when it comes to actually making the coffee, you have to wait around 30 minutes. I've been waiting for my caramel frappe, and the entitled mum gets in line and asks for a caramel frappe as well. She says she needs it quickly though because she has a flight to catch. The Starbucks barista says, sorry, they are really busy today, and if she wants something fast, she can pour her a coffee. No. The entitled mum needs a caramel frappe and she needs it now. Doesn't the barista have any sympathy for a tired mum that needs to handle her 2 kids while traveling? Trick question. The barista doesn't care. The barista says she can get a caramel frappe ready for her, but she'll have to wait. The entitled mum sighs, but is willing to wait. I'm just eavesdropping because I've been waiting forever and this is entertaining. My caramel frappe is ready and it has my damn name on it. They literally call my name Caramel Frappe for Boopity. The entitled mum says, oh great, that was quick, and she goes to grab the drink. And I cut her off and say, sorry, this is mine, and I take it before she can grab it. The entitled mum frowns and says, no it's not, it's mine. I just ordered it. And I say back to her, and I've been waiting for 30 minutes, and it literally has my name on it. The entitled mum goes, well, I have a flight to catch and 2 rowdy boys I need to take care of. You can wait. And then she goes to snatch it out of my hand. I then lick the lid all over before she can reach it. The now annoyed entitled mum says, really? You really needed to do that? What is wrong with you? Young people are so selfish. She says this a little loud, looking around at other people waiting like she expected other people to be on her side. Everyone ignores her, pretending not to witness what's going on. I take my drink and start getting my utensils, and the entitled mum gives up on me. Then another caramel frappe is ready and she tries this nonsense again. The owner of the frappe just says, lady, are you gonna try this with everyone's drink? Now the crowd starts ganging up on her. I think they realized she was really just gonna keep doing this, and it would have been nice if one of them had my back while she was doing it to me, but whatever. A bunch of people just start yelling, just wait. We've all been waiting, it's not that hard. What makes you think you're so special? The entitled mum, realizing that no one's on her side, retreats to her table where her family is sitting, clearly embarrassed. What I don't get about this story is, if you're in such a rush, why was it so important that you got yourself a caramel frappe? And further to that, you're at an airport. It's not like every single person there has a flight to catch anyway, right? Maybe I just have too high of an expectation of entitled parents to act like normal human beings, but it doesn't seem like that's ever gonna happen. In the mid-1980s, I was a furloughed airline pilot, and like most of my furloughed brethren, I went off in a mad search for a flying job until business picked up for our employer and we got called back. As luck would have it, I found a gig as a captain on a Dassault Falcon 50EX operated by an airline charter company. The Falcon 50 is a mid-sized 3-engine business jet and a truly pleasant airplane to fly. I had been previously qualified on it, so I made a nice fit for the charter operator. People who spend $5,000 or so per hour to charter a mid-sized jet are, by definition, prone to a sense of entitlement. It came to a pass one day that we were going to pick up a woman and her 10-year-old child at Denver Stapleton and take them to Orlando, I think Disney World. I was on the ramp at the appointed time, aircraft cleaned, fueled, and catered. First officer and I have reviewed the weather package, confirmed that our flight plan had been correctly entered, and are waiting peacefully in the cockpit. Door closed. The passenger arrives, greeted by the flight attendant, and when the cabin door is closed and locked, we'll start the engines and wait for the flight attendant to let us know that the safety briefing has begun. This happens, we taxi out, depart, no muss, no fuss. Climbing through about 25,000 feet, the flight attendant calls the cockpit and says, "Hey John, the lady wants to visit the cockpit with her son." And I say, "You know we can't do that. Company rules plus FAA rules." Oh well. Silence resumes and the climb continues. 10 minutes later and we're level at our cruising altitude. And the call light comes on again. The attendant says, "Mrs. Rich Lady demands that you come back here and talk to her." And I just say back, "Sorry, not going to do that." Not that I think it's going to help, but at this point, I turn the fasten seatbelt sign back on. I say, "Folks, this is the captain. I've turned on the fasten seatbelt sign as we're expecting some moderate turbulence along our route of flight. Please return to your seats at this time." Okay, so I lied. But not 10 minutes later, there is a pounding on the cockpit door. Call for the flight attendant, no answer. Now I'm getting concerned. I hear the woman yelling, but cannot make out what she's saying, debating what to do when the cockpit door comes off its track and is forced open. The entitled mum says brightly, "There now, that is ever so much better. Now we can have a nice conversation, can't we? I think you need to be more cooperative considering that I'm paying to ride on this thing." At this point, the entitled mum notices there is a sideways facing seat just behind the co-pilot's seat. This is called the jump scene. And she continues, "My son wants to fly the airplane and I'm going to sit on this nice seat and watch and take some pictures for his scrapbook. Now have this guy in the right seat leave the cockpit so my son can sit in his seat and fly the airplane." First officer, who is a good pilot and a smart man too, rolls the ATC transponder code to 7500 and hits the ident button to let air traffic control know that we're being unlawfully interfered with. The entitled mum informs us that there will be consequences if we don't comply with her wishes and then says darkly, "Your flight attendant knows about the consequences." At this point, we hear a resounding noise and discover that our flight attendant has smacked entitled mum in the head with a coffee carafe. Everything from here on is pretty anticlimactic. We restrained her, zip ties are wonderful, and diverted into St. Louis and had her arrested. The US Marshals are wonderful people. Through all of this, the kid had apparently remained in his seat, reading a book. As he was leaving the aircraft, he said goodbye to the flight attendant and then said, "I didn't want to go to Disney World anyway, just another glorious day in the pointy end." By the way, the flight attendant had a black eye and a facial laceration that resulted from trying to keep the woman away from the cockpit. Are we really surprised to see another entitled parent doing something illegal and dangerous? Because I for one am not. Although I do have to admit, I didn't really expect an entitled parent to be dumb enough to do something like this. I said this just before, but I really got to lower my expectations of entitled parents. We'll start with some backstory. I have an uncle that my grandpa gave a large plot of land on his farm a few hundred yards from the farmhouse to build his own house for his young family. So my grandpa was in the army for 20 years and also a cattle farmer, a real man's man. And with that combination, you know that he was armed. He is the one who taught me to shoot growing up, as my dad didn't grow up around guns. 3 guns in particular I would shoot would be a .22 rifle, a beautiful Browning A5 12 gauge from the 50s, and later when I was bigger, an M1 Garand. Whenever I visited the farm, as I lived 6 hours from there, I would always ask to shoot and invite my uncle and cousin over to participate. And maybe once in my life did one cousin want to join in. Otherwise, they never wanted to touch a gun. In high school, my grandpa began passing guns to me as presents for stages. When I turned 16, he gave me the .22. When I got my Eagle Scout award, he gave me his shotgun. Getting my Eagle was something I worked very hard to finish because he had cancer at the time and he was also an Eagle Scout. He was able to give my grandfather's charge at my ceremony, and it is one of 2 times that I've seen the man cry, and a memory that I'll hold on to forever. When I graduated high school, he gave me an old .22 pistol that used to be his father's and no longer was functional, but still a family item. My second week of college, which was about 7 years ago, we found out that he had 2 weeks to live, and I got to see him one last time before he died, and he told me he was proud of me and passed on the M1 Garand. That was the only other time I saw him cry. Well, now to our actual entitled parent story. It was a year after his passing and I get a Facebook message from my uncle, and to paraphrase, he says, "Hey, do you have great grandpa's pistol? Grandma thought that grandpa gave it to you, but it's actually mine and great grandpa gave it to me years ago. So I would like it back because grandpa shouldn't have given it to you. I know he also gave you the rifles and the shotgun, and actually, those should be mine by right of use, and I assumed I would get them when grandpa passed." Well, that pissed me off because I knew for a fact that he hadn't touched a single one of those guns in my whole life and declined every time I asked him if he wanted to shoot. So saying that it should be his by right of use really pissed me off. But on the chances grandpa really gave him the pistol and my grandpa forgot, I gave it to him to be peaceful. This was years ago and shouldn't bother me, but whenever I think of him, I can't help but remember that he had the gall to say he should have the guns my grandpa gave to me, even though he ignored them. You know, something like this would really annoy me. I really like to think that no one in my family would ever be this selfish. What really gets to me about this one though is what was the actual benefit of the uncle taking the guns when he had no interest in guns whatsoever. I hope one day OP gets the guns back, but it doesn't seem like it's very likely. Alright everyone, that is that for today's episode of Entitled Parents. I just want to start off by saying thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm just going to take a second to plug a couple of my social medias, including our Discord server. I do have a Twitter and an Instagram if you want to follow me on both of those. They are both at Bumfris, and feel free to send me a message and I'll do my best to respond. I also just want to take a second to say thank you so much for all the love lately. All of the comments, the likes, the subscribers, just the fact that you guys tune in and watch my videos every day, it really does make my day. Every single one of you is the backbone of this channel and I really cannot express how much I appreciate that. Without you guys, this channel would be nothing, and I love making these videos for you guys and I love the fact that you enjoy them. So on that note, I will wrap things up for today's episode of Entitled Parents. I just want to take a second again to say thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Entitled Parents. Bye.